Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome to VR Master League here on Channel 1. So, I'm Palidore, we've got Team Gravity versus Envy coming in today, and what's going to be a very interesting match. Simultaneously, we also do have venues rocking and rolling over on our VRML main channel. I will mention here, by the way, very much a match worthy of venues as much as anything. Would have loved to have it on there, of course, just I know the questions will be there, so I just want to clarify. Purely because we do have to submit scheduling for those things, like the main kind of one of the showcase matches by Thursday. So, if anyone's wondering. Otherwise, yeah, this is just as much as anything is going to be a hype match. The thing is, we have 5 master matches in Europe here right now over the course of the next hour and a half, if you can believe it. A lot of master matches at once. So, on venues, on the main VRML main channel, if you want to go watch on there as well, we'll have matches across the hours. And I will be basically here for some overflow matches in that sense, because a lot happening at once. But I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Meanwhile, again, on Venue's channel, we have Luke, Doc Education, Wonder, T-Man, as well as Retep Worm, hopefully going to join shortly on that cast as well for that second match. That said, round 1 about to start here. So, a couple things I want to note kind of, well, right off the bat is the fact that I don't know when this happened. Maybe I'm too out of date. Boop 90 here on Envy. I'm actually really excited to see that, because I won't lie, I was super bummed when I saw that Boop had started the season retired, it seemed, or semi-retired, whatever the case may be. Glad to see Boop back on a team. As always, I consider him then and now one of the best players in Echo, period. So great to see the veterans still in the game. That said, the first save of the game from Simon on Team Gravity. Now, they had that match earlier on against Jesters, a successful 2-round win for them. Although worth noting that Team Gravity, they did get off to a bit of a slow start in those rounds. They were not quite looking all like themselves at junctures, missing some of the passes and not scoring as much in bunches, although some of that I think I credit to, well, first of all, it was an early game. Relatively speaking, as Viatrex, the theory of Viatrex is the theory of relativity, and that is to say, a lot of gravity around him. That is a player who will get the job done wherever he is on the field. So Viatrex manning that goal, and it will be, though, Tosis able to convert. Took him a few different attempts, but they were finally able to get on the board, and Envy on it first. Another thing worth noting here for these players for these teams, is that in the first cycle, Envy actually did take an early match off of Team Gravity. Team Gravity, of course, the reigning, defending 3-time champions. 4 if you count preseason as well of VRML. The point is, this has been a elite team in this European scene. But they have lost a couple of matches here this season. The thing is, and I don't say that as a disparaging thing, I kind of mentioned it on the earlier stream, the really tough double-edged sword almost of being an elite team and being, for that matter, a reigning defending champion is the fact that you always have those expectations against you, right? Everyone is thinking, okay, these guys have to play perfect. The moment they're not playing perfect anymore is the moment that they are suddenly yesterday's news. That said, Niles, well, is trying to make that a reality, because the news here is 5 points on Envy's side. But yeah, I speak from a place, granted, years old now. You know, it's been years since I've played at the top competitive level, certainly, but just, you know, coming from that angle, I get it, right? It's you lose 1 or 2 games and suddenly it's like the sky is falling, at least as far as other teams are concerned. It's like, do they still have it? Can they still do it? Have they lost their mojo? But as I say, until they actually lose their first championship, as Simon gets the 3, putting a 3 in his name and in the goal. Until they lose the big one, you can't bet against them. At least not on the whole season, right? So, this match could go either way, and Team Gravity, I feel like, the thing is, back in Season 1, to give a little context, and sorry if I'm getting too heavy on the story times as opposed to play-by-play, but there's so much to tell here. In Season 1 of VRML, Team Gravity did actually take a bit of a break there in the middle of the season. Now that said, taking no breaks on the back of the goal, it's going to be BK winding it in. Nice score for the 7th point. But my main point here is, it's not unprecedented. Gravity actually back in Season 1 of VRML. That was February through May 2020. They took about a 5 week break, I believe, 6 week break at some point in there. This was before cycles were a thing and Master Tier promotion relegation was a thing. But yeah, they came back a little bit slow at first, but sure enough, by the time they got to the latter half of the season, the end of the season, I should say, Gravity was Gravity again. And that's all I mean. You cannot count out the team that has had the odds stacked against them and yet still prevailed 4 times in a row in those big match scenarios. But nonetheless, story time is over. I think I just did, what, 3 minutes of that, 4 minutes of that. Play-by-play time is back. Right now, it's scoring affair for Lowrider. Just ain't fair with all this scoring talent on Team Gravity and Envy for that matter. I would not be surprised to see it end in kind of that 20-point area for both of these teams, either of these teams. Of course, on Envy's side, as I say, story time is over. And on Envy's side, I mean, you've got some very long-time players and a very long-time shot. That's the thing. I call this the best of Echo for a reason at the Master Tier, and it applies as much to these two teams in particular more than anything, I think, in Europe, because especially between, you know, Boop, Niles, and again, Viatrex there, and I mean, we're talking players who were at it since basically day one on the PC, 4 years plus ago. But a good mixture of the long-time veterans and the semi-newer blood in comparison. Of course, all these players still multi-year veterans in their own right at this point. Take back there by BK for Envy. They're down by a point here, and like I said, you know, it was a fast start for Envy, and yet Team Gravity here back in the mix, ahead by 1 for that matter, so... The first round continuing on as another open goal. Could it be? No, the 3 just missing, but a rebound is there, and the second chance points are good. Up by 3 is Gravity. And what's up in there again? Oogle and Infiltrate, Alpha Wolf, Akinut. Glad to have you guys here. Bloomy Shots as well. Still up, isn't it? Super late over there in Australia. Either way, I'm glad to have you. I should talk. I'm the one who's in North America, but always upcasting in Australia. So a knockaway there by BK, and Lowrider will be sent into the trench of the blue zone. Taken by BK. BK into that right tunnel, and right away on the stacks. Able to recover nicely. Niles, though, getting overtaken by that stack, and kind of shrugging the shoulders a little bit, thinking maybe, where's the comms at? But yeah, being taken off guard. This could produce some more points if they're not careful. And Envy here, as we wind it into the last third of this first round. All they need is just one more little scoring burst, and they should still be fine. But that said, Viatrex somehow squeaking away. It gave a little bit of a dusty there. I'm not even sure it was an intended one, but knocked out that player, just swung wildly and made it a success. Meanwhile, though, on the other end of the floor, a misread on that disc is going to enable Niles the approach, although Lowrider right in tow, quite literally so, is able to get that off, and same with a shot. Viatrex missing, but the rebound and the stun from the Lowrider in 1. And indeed, greetings, fellow human beings. Does that include me? Because questionable. But, yeah, what's up, Ant? 4 a.m. in Australia. Well, there you go. Bloomy Shots, either the extreme dedication or just the bad sleep schedule. I can relate. Midfield taken by Denials. Trying to get them back in the mix. They still have some time. Down by a couple goals minimum, but they can still make it up here. Denials is going to walk it right in. One end to the other, only 13 seconds coast to coast though, and that pulls them back within a few points. Also greetings to Nibs, I see you. Glad to have you guys here. One more reminder, as I do see indeed the numbers pop up a little more from where we started. We're also streaming on the VRML main channel, got venues going on. There will be at least 3 master matches there, perhaps 4, depending on schedules. The 4th one does not get played on venues. That's Ajaj versus Everest. It will be here on 1, casted by moi. As right now going from north to south, well, no one there to catch. Simon was stunned out. So back into the back line. It's Viatrex. Perhaps now beginning to approach that mode where they're going to slow down a little bit. Of course, they want to score. But point is, they want to keep it highest percentage possible. And there you go. Simon putting every move possible. That is a tricky player to stop. when they're approaching you as an offense. I don't envy him. That is to say, I don't envy Envy. I wouldn't want to be the goalie in that goal trying to defend against that. No, sir. Then again, I never wanted to be in the goal in the first place. So, with that, though, 2 denials. They are down by 5 points, 1 minute remaining. Boop trying to send that over to Tozis. Tozis over to denials. Niles now, left lane. A good approach here. I mean, they're doing very well to evade that stack, although after about 5 passes, 6 passes later, they eventually do lose it to said stack, and that is the tough part about that kind of aggressive defense, is they're going to nab you eventually, at least more often than not. So Viatrex, they're getting knocked out, speaking of, in that big pileup. 42 seconds remaining. Team Gravity in position to take this one away in the first round, although not by much. Score here could certainly put some icing on that. So up high, just missed on the catch, however. A little bit too high to catch. Back into the midfield, 23 seconds remaining, and still chance to at least bring it a little closer and finish the round the right way. Indeed, they do. So Tozis there on that stack. Will at least get one more score, but unfortunately, just missing an extra 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. There might have been a little chance, but the time is indeed up, and round 1 will go to Team Gravity. Definitely good news for Team Gravity and any Team Gravity fans in the audience there. As I said, the match earlier on in the day, about 4 hours ago, that happened. Earlier by typical Master Tier standards. Usually it's all around this time right now. But yeah, they weren't quite looking themselves, I will say. They were both rounds, so just a lot of these kind of missed passes and connections that you don't normally expect to see. That said, though, this round at this time, they're looking much more like the Team Gravity I know. Connecting more often than not and scoring in the double digits. With plenty of assists, by the by. That's also a staple. Usually every player for Gravity will wind up with an assist by the end of the first round, or nothing else, at least by the second. Just how it goes with them. That said, though, likewise for Envy. They're, meeting my expectations in that sense that I haven't been able to cast them recently. Again, I wasn't even aware that Boop had joined the roster. But I already expect greatness from them, and certainly, you look at the record, you can't help it, right? 8-1. They've been an impressive team this season especially, but it started, a season ago, if not multiple seasons ago. It's a build-up to this point where Envy is trying to contend there right at the top and maybe be the one. Be one of the those teams who covet that championship. And as importantly, as big as anything, being able to say you're the first one to dethrone a spotless team when it comes to those finals scenarios. So definitely a lot of stories at play as we get started in this round. Will be just an open goal walked in from Viatrex, so that's not what they wanted for Envy, certainly. Unable to rotate effectively and just getting caught out. Other side of things, shout out, Phenom, tier 1 subscription there. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it very much. 11 months now. Always appreciate the support. Of course, Phenom, one of our now and then casters, and all around just community members who's present all over the place doing great work. So appreciate Phenom for sure. Also in the front row. That said, let's go. It's the first goal for Envy. And what's up to Moski? So it occurred to me, the more likely pronunciation of your name, it's Moski, isn't it? I don't know why I say Moski. I think it's force of habit. There's a lot of those players with MO to start their name. I just got caught in the trap. Well. Moski, I apologize for mispronouncing. But yeah, that was a fun video to do. Maybe I'll have to redo it next time around. And I'll get it right. Me and the names. Name a more iconic duo, Pally and messing up pronunciations on players' names. Of course, when there's 4,000 players, it's going to happen sometimes, but it always makes me feel bad. That said, Simon here with the grab and trying to evade. Nicely pulling a Matador move on Boop, although Boop's still giving him a stun for the efforts. Boop will try to contest Louis. Nice job to recover on the defense. Meanwhile, BK and Boop, both of these players now kind of hovering around that outer edge of the bubble, not trying to get caught out with any stuns, but just pressuring enough to not allow an easy walk-in, essentially, or an open pass. Speaking of, though, Niles, putting in those moves. How about that? The trickery. Now, Niles was looking behind him, checking behind. I'm not going to say I'm a mind reader. I could be totally off here. But I would almost feel like, knowing Niles and his cleverness, I'm sure there was communication coming in from his teammates, but maybe just looking behind on purpose, almost to bait one of those two players, because he knew that there was two players in the goal. So surely he had to know that one of them was going to dive as he got closer to the bubble, right? So I don't know. I'm just theorizing here. Maybe turned away to bait the dive, only to turn right back around and duck with a purpose. That said, with a purpose, it's Simon. 17-second reaction time to tie it back up. I'm very wordy today. Hopefully the words are providing some insight, though. One of those streams. Sometimes I get caught a lot in like the color and the analysis and story time. Sometimes I'm just more play-by-play. Depends how awake I am, I suppose. But man, thing is, I think I have a lot to say because I have not been able to cast Europe nearly as much this season, so there's just so much to catch up on. Regretfully, my sleep schedule is just not nice for these games. I really wish I could have been casting more because I miss it. Now, with that said, and both these teams providing highlights for days every time I do get to cast, and that said, Boop on this approach is actually going to back it out. Was a little bit of a dangerous one, although the pressure not substantial enough to cause too many problems. So Niles going to work it up the floor with Louis in tow. Now Tozis with a pass up to the shoulder, and they found the angles. BK was up there for a rather long time, unaddressed defensively. They're just kind of waiting for that pass to happen and had the free walk-in, essentially. So they're back up by 2. Envy looking for the third round for them. If, you know, we can only be so fortunate on the neutral viewers end of things, but... Also have maybe Dark VR in the chat. Welcome to it. Glad to bring a little light into your life as these teams do. Delights the rebound there, so maybe about to ignite a goal, maybe get it going. Back pass actually, opting for that one, and not a bad idea because you see the 3 players were all clustered together, so they said, okay, let's separate, reset. That said, play done. Sunset. Tozis causing a turnover. Now Tozis down the line. Niles on that fling, too low. Unable to hit that bottom pocket, but a rebound to BK, who does have Niles on the boots and does have Tozis with the fakes, the takes, and a double up on the lead, 8-4. So with that, nice round thus far from Envy. They're scoring efficiently, and it may just continue there. Denials gently down the stream, or I guess down the river after all. Denials doing the work. Also, assist, hockey assist to the teammate. I'm not sure who he was stacked with, but obviously the stack was the key part of that turnover. So, we'll be 11-4. Team Gravity locked down only to 4 points, unusual, and frankly, they almost turned it over right there as well. Held on to that disc for a long time, just fortunately for them, the defense was unable to get a grab. That said, eventually, it does get back to Niles. Niles is going to find Boop, and Boop back passing there. Louis close by on the defense. Envy looking very calm, cool, and collected overall. Look at this. Just beautiful pass work. That said, beautiful diving. Louis undoing their team play with his wise play. Reading that disc, down the floor they go, and it's the toe of the Zis variety. And this is quite the match so far. Only 4 minutes left in this round, which is to say enough time certainly for Gravity to come back, but they do need to score soon. It's unusual to see them only at 4 points after 6 minutes of action. Especially after that first round, where they had scored, 14, I believe. With that, Phenom, you were back in the front row, so apparently you were off it and I didn't realize. That wasn't my marketing tactic to pressure you, I swear. But thank you for getting back on the front row, and that said, into the front of the goal from right underneath. Technically the back, but that didn't really have as much word symmetry, so I had to go for it. Anyway, Envy finally having a goal go against them. It seemed like it's just been all Envy this round, at least for most of the last, I don't know, 4 minutes at least, 4 or 5 minutes. That said, oh, directing traffic, but direct hit on the goal, Lowrider, not to be denied. All of a sudden, look at this. Gravity is back in the game. And I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not necessarily am. It's just, it's like it's an instant flip of a switch, right? Where one team is so solidly ahead and so solidly in a rhythm, it feels like. But man, 30 seconds later, 60 seconds later, everything changes. Everything changes. And now they are behind as Team Gravity pushes ahead by 1. What a turnaround for Team Gravity, the fortitude of their team. And why do they have that fortitude? It comes from the experience. Because they have been in these situations before in matches that were a lot higher stakes and higher pressure. Speaking of postseason and finals and things like that, right? It's that veteranship that helps you stay calm in the most stressful, anxious of situations. And you're seeing that here from these players. So down the floor, it will be overtaken now. Last 2 minutes of action. That 1-point lead might just grow here if they're not careful. A knockout from that stack. Picked off by Lowrider and picked right back by BK. King of that ring, or at least of that goal. Losing out the disc again. Now Boop overtaking. So gotta be careful of Boop, of course. Has that Boop shot to his name and many other shots in the arsenal. That repertoire of Boop is endless. That said, these stacks now seem endless just the same. Good regrab from Louis on the leech. Back into the other side. Picked off. Overtaken. Both of the stacks actually just pile on each other. And now Gravity trying to find some space and turning right around into a double KO. Last minute of play. Minute 19 remaining. Gravity here giving up the disc. Oh, a bit of an unforced turnover. They need their stacks right now for Envy if they want to see this third round happen. Otherwise, Gravity will definitely punish. Will be grabbed by BK. BK takes it for the 1-point advantage. 1 minute, less than that, in fact, after this next joust comes out. Third round is still in contention, however. Will it happen? Won't it happen? But yeah, this is a new game, man. New game. It's ultra. Nothing micro about it. That's about as much as I can go on that sneak. That said, 43 seconds left. And the question here is, what is Gravity going to do? Are they going to attempt to maybe take the last shot of the game? Are they going to waste enough clock to get the last shot? Or are they just going to take the quickest one available? Soon enough, in a few seconds here, it actually won't even be their choice. So it does look like, indeed, it's going to be a case. They're going to try and get this last shot, and they're going to take a lead. Lowrider puts them up by 1. Patience, experience, veterancy. That is what we just saw there. Team Gravity, clock management in a nutshell. Leaving no time. To the second, just about. No time. And Team Gravity has done it. Lost to Envy in the first cycle in, week 1 or 2. They said, we're not starting off the second half of this season the same way. And to their credit, they did not. But what a close match that was. My only disappointment is indeed the lack of a round 3, but that's just me being selfish. So with that, what a great series of rounds there from both those teams. Envy, that will be their second loss here of the season, which we'll actually have them matching Gravity in that aspect now. So both teams losing 2 games, but nothing to be beyond the context of the initial sting of the loss. Nothing to be upset about in the grand scheme of things. I mean, Envy's a top contender. That much is clear. So 1 match in the books. We still got 5 more weeks left in the regular season after this. Watch out for Envy. I know Team Gravity certainly is. But that said, that was like I said, if I could do more story time, I totally would, or just analysis in general. I love everything that I saw from them in those the last minutes there. I mean, it got stressful, but you don't get stuff like that without the years of experience and having been in those situations dozens and dozens of times, not hundreds at this point. You know, it was masterful work. So credit to these teams. With that though, yeah, nice and even. You know, Team Gravity 14 points in both rounds. Envy not far behind, not at all. Looks like, yeah, Twitch chat appreciating that certainly. A lot of clutchness. Phenom saying the clutch. Akina, J for Jack. Northern Twitch, Infiltrate, all of you guys. It was good stuff. Gloomy Shots, Reggie Woods. Appreciate the compliments. Always happy to do it. Like I said, it's mutually beneficial, so. Here's to you, Reggie Woods. We are out of the woods on this cast. From that note, forgot to turn on my camera. That's okay, I was just visiting the watering hole, I guess. Okay. So on that note, this is, for now, it for me on this stream. I will send you guys over to Venues, though. The main channel of Twitch, that is. That's where we play our Venues streams for the non-Venues viewers. So that said, Smash Dash Baby Phantom's playing in there. It is currently... Might have heard Doc slip through there on the comms. See, round 2. In position for round 3, perhaps, between those two teams. And yeah, so basically I'll be here on channel 1 if necessary for like those 3rd or 4th games, just depending on if things get delayed too much, basically. Then I would take those games here on channel 1. So we're adjustable today. But 5 master matches for Europe. You're going to have, ideally, all of them streamed on one channel or the other. So on that note, let me see. Raid. Send you guys over there, and yeah, we'll either see you on that channel or maybe back here in a little bit. Until then, predictions. Thank you, thank you. I will get that for you right quick. There's your points. And on that note, I've been Palidore. This has been VR Master League, Channel 1. Be happy, healthy, safe, and be great to each other, of course. And I'm going to see you again, one way or the other, really soon. Season 4 of VRML Echo Arena is brought to you by HyperX, Asterion Products, VRware, Rebuff Reality, VR Cover, and ProTube VR.